So when I say Bobby Deol, what comes to your mind? When I think of Bobby Deol, what comes to my mind is the iconic. And then, of course, the recently done fiasco where he went to a nightclub in Delhi and played Gupt Gupt, and he became the part of every meme. But you know what? I think he's trying to redeem himself. And recently, he's come in a Netflix show called The Class of 83. I'll be reviewing that in a separate video. But for now, I want to talk about Bobby Deol and talk about two of his movies from the 2000s. So recently, during a promotional video for The Class of 83, Bobby Deol started talking about the old movies that he has done. And I realized that he's done a lot of mystery movies, whether it is Ajnabee or Humraaz or Bichu, and the line just continues. I ended up watching two of his movies back to back on Amazon Prime Video. And they're both by Abbas-Mustan. They're both mysteries. And they both have Bobby Deol in fairly similar but pivotal character. So the first one that I'll be reviewing is Ajnabee. Ajnabee is a 2001 movie that stars Bobby Deol, Kareena Kapoor, Akshay Kumar and Bipasha Basu. A fun fact is that this was the introduction of Bipasha Basu in the movies. Even though she'd been part of various songs and music videos in the past, this was the first movie that she did. So anyway, the movie starts with Bobby Deol and Kareena Kapoor falling in love fairly quickly. He is a polo player and he moves to Switzerland together with Kareena Kapoor. There they become friends with Akshay Kumar and Bipasha Basu. They become very good friends fairly quickly, and you know that the story is mounting up to a disaster waiting to happen. They basically become friends, there's a fallout, and then finally there is that angle of wife swapping. You might remember this from the movie. It was pretty iconic when Akshay Kumar kept doing this in the movie, which was pretty new to India at that point, I'd say, in the 2000s. And finally, there's a mystery that comes in. There's a murder that happens, and then the story revolves around that. So I'm not going to give out a spoiler in case you're like me and would want to go and watch. But Ajnabee overall is a fairly good movie for its time and even maybe beyond its time. The mystery keeps you on the edge of your sofa. You want to know what is happening. Performances by Kareena Kapoor and Bipasha Basu are pretty terrible. Kareena Kapoor, I really don't know what to say. I think I'm going to make another video on why and how she's so overhyped. But for now, it's safe to assume that she really has no role to play in this movie. Maybe because it was really early on in her career as well. Akshay Kumar is okay. You realize that he is really the sidekick to Bobby Deol in this movie. He does not have as much screen time. And again, looking back in time, to think Akshay Kumar could ever be a sidekick is pretty hilarious. Because now, he owns movies the way he does, right? Coming to Bobby Deol, he is pretty impressive in the movie. And I came to realize, not only after watching Ajnabee, but also Humraaz, and then I watched The Class of 83. The one thing that Bobby Deol could never do is dance, which isn't his strength. I don't think it's a strength of the family. But he does pretty well in stoic acting. So when he has to really be quiet, be mysterious, I think he pulls that off really well. So he does that well in Ajnabee. And I don't think he got enough credit for the kind of role he did. So I recommend that you watch Ajnabee for old-time feels, but also to see these actors and actresses in a different light than what we now know that they have come to. That was Ajnabee. The other one that I ended up watching, which was another Bobby Deol movie from 2002 called Humraaz. Again, it's a mystery movie with various mysteries within each other. The movie starts with Karan and Priya, played by Akshay Khanna and Amisha Patel. They're part of a dance troupe. Yes, you get to see a lot of dancing from Akshay Khanna. I had almost forgotten that, in the 2000s, there were actors other than Hrithik Roshan who could do this kind of dancing or do dancing at all. But Akshay Khanna shows us some of his moves. They're not great, but the songs are pretty good. They land up on a cruise that is owned by Mr. Singhania, being played by Bobby Deol. He's a wealthy man, and I feel like Bobby Deol is probably one of those people who gives out the wealthy vibes in movies. So he's probably always doing those kind of roles. But yeah, he falls in love with Amisha Patel and they get married. Only for it to be revealed that this was a whole plan that Amisha Patel and Akshay Khanna had. Get married to a rich man, get a divorce, and get all the money that they could from him. So the movie progresses. It is going down the Hum Dil De Chuke track when she kind of starts falling in love with him. And there is one revelation after another. There are a few murders in between, and then the movie takes its own course. Again, to talk about Bobby Deol, he isn't bad at all. I mean, he's loving, he plays that off well. His dialogue delivery is not bad at all. He doesn't need to dance. He has to just act smitten. He does all of that pretty well. Again, I don't think he's ever gotten any kind of credit for the kind of movies and maybe also the kind of risks he took in his career in Bollywood. So remembering him a little bit for the kind of work he's done. Hopefully with OTT becoming a part of everybody's lives, and OTT again allowing some of these actors such as Saif Ali Khan to experiment a lot more with the kind of roles they could do, Bobby Deol will also shine in a different way through the class of 83 and then go on to doing a lot more content like that. Trivia that I want to give is Abbas-Mustan apparently liked the names Raj and Priya a lot because the leading actresses in both the movies are Priya, and Bobby Deol plays Raj in both the movies. So yeah, that's just a simple observation from me. But yeah, overall, I recommend that you watch both Ajnabee and Humraaz to remember the old times. Thank you for tuning in. I'll come back again with more reviews and also a review of the class of 83 very soon.